All right, welcome back to Hometown Highlights. I'm Shane Cardinal, and today we are here with another contestant from season 1 of Slag Wars, Cameron Smith. How are you, Cameron?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Bournemouth in the south of the UK, but I currently live in Manchester, which is in the north.
Manchester. So, how has being a TV star been for you in the last couple weeks? You know, you were on episode 1 and episode 2 of Slag Wars that came out these last 2 Fridays. How has this been for you?
It's been a bit surreal, like seeing yourself on a screen and seeing, like, so because obviously we filmed it a couple of months ago, so it's weird to see it come to fruition and like how it's been like edited and stuff like that. So it's all been very surreal, I think is the word I'd use.
It's definitely fun to watch. I wasn't sure what the show even was going to be based on the trailer. It showed like very little, but it was super
hmm
fun the first couple episodes. So tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, your career, all that kind of jazz.
Myself and Levi, we both do OnlyFans as a couple, and that is our
Okay.
like main sort of thing that we do. We're in the like top 0.5%, so like we do well with it. Thank you.
It's good.
And yeah, it's been like obviously we work hard at like promoting it, and like social media itself isn't like kind to sex workers in the sense that a lot of it's censored when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
So that's like our main thing that we do. I also write, and we also both, me and myself and Levi, are involved in like social media and stuff like that from like before.
Okay. And so before you were doing OnlyFans and any of that, what would your job have been? Were you in retail or?
I worked in hospitality. I've
Okay.
always been like, my main dream was to become a writer, so I've always like been writing a book on the side, as it were. So
Okay.
like all of my like jobs I do have always been to be like, I'm just supporting this. I've never really like pursued a career because I've always just thought that's what I was gonna do.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've been writing a book about my life, which I don't feel is that interesting, but I feel like it's interesting enough that people would want to hear it. So that's
hmm
cool. I love writing as well. So you mentioned Levi, so you're also dating a contestant on the show, Levi.
Yeah, I've been with Levi for 3 years, and when they reached out to about the show, they messaged myself first, and they said that they were producing the show. They weren't quite sure on the details of what it was going to be, but they had like a generic thing that it was going to be very like the Cock Destroyers brand, and they
Yeah.
asked if I would be interested in the show, which I said I was. And then shortly after that, they said that they thought it would be fun if Levi came as well, so that we were there as a couple. Obviously, that isn't really ever been in what I can think of in like a competition show before.
Yeah.
And they also wanted a bit more like, I guess, inclusivity of like, coming from the direction of doing sex work as a couple, because I think that that obviously is a topic that I think there's a lot of sex workers out there who perhaps feel like they can't be in relationships because of their work, or perhaps people out there who don't want to be in a relationship with a sex worker, perhaps because they think that they'd be disloyal or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, like, we thought that it was like an important direction to come from.
Okay, yeah, I like that because like even myself, me and my boyfriend started to do kind of like Twitter and OnlyFans kind of thing, but that it creates a dynamic for a lot of things that some people aren't
Yeah,
really necessarily comfortable with. Like, so that's interesting, and I love that that's what the show is all about is inclusivity and showing and almost like exposing the world to our community, so they know we're still human and we're still people that still have lives and all that. So that's cool. So speaking of Levi, not to talk too much about him, but that was a topic of this episode, episode
yes.
2. He pulled Kane aside and confessed that he didn't really feel comfortable in the show. How was it for you, him leaving? Did it really affect you that much in the challenges, or do you think it like got in your head, or?
When we first did it, obviously, like, not everything that's like filmed is obviously making the edit because some of it's just not interesting on TV, and also that it's only like an hour episode, but we're there
Yeah,
for 24 hours a day.
yeah,
And when we first arrived, we did the pole dancing challenge, and both myself and Levi were terrified by that. And then
yeah.
after that, we were doing the viral video challenge, which again
Mm.
was a little bit intimidating for us, and we were in separate groups. And then after that, we managed to come back together because that was kind of very like straight away. Like that was as it appeared. It was like we came in the gate, we did the pole dancing, and then
Yeah.
we got, we had the conversation, then we were split into groups, and so we didn't really have much time to talk. But then that evening we were still staying in the house, and so we did speak, and he had already expressed that he felt that it was a little bit like embarrassing for him to attempt to do these things, it wasn't like his brand, and
Yeah.
he didn't really see much benefit in like pushing himself to do that. Whereas on the contrary, even though like I don't feel like it's necessarily my brand either, I felt like there was something to gain from my personal thing, just because like Levi's quite known for his TikToks and stuff. Like his
Yep. I've
personality is
actually
already
seen
seen
him on
online.
TikTok before that. I saw him on TikTok and
Yeah,
then I was like, oh my God, he's going to be on the show. I've been watching him on TikTok for the last like 6
yeah.
months.
So he's like fairly known on that, and so like he's already like put his personality out there. Whereas in contrast, like when people like stop us in the street, they're like, "You're Levi's boyfriend," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Yep.
So I thought it was like fairly important to put my personality out
Yeah.
there.
Which that's good though. And Tyreece, when I spoke to them, they said that they strategically split you because of how you didn't want to be seen as the couple on the show and compete together. So they felt that they were helping you out in that. Do you think that helped you in those challenges, or do you think that kind of
I do.
hindered it?
In hindsight, I do. At the time, I felt like, you know, maybe Tyreece was splitting us up to, you know, just benefit their
Stir the
own.
pot, yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing, as you would in a competition, which most people would. It's no like
Yeah.
harm. But then, like in retrospect, obviously, it did give me the opportunity to like focus on the challenge and like focus on what I wanted to deliver as well. And I actually was paired in with Tyreece in both this challenge and the second one, and me and Tyreece worked together really well as well. So that was good.
That was good. Yeah, no, I watched the first episode and I noticed that you two worked really well together. And even Chris Crocker had some good comments that you were still in character the whole time, even though you were in the background, not really the foreground of the scene, you still were selling it. So that was good. In the second episode, you and them were paired up for the safe word challenge, the kink challenge. What was that like working with Tyreece for that episode?
Yeah, Levi chose us to be in a group just before he quit. And obviously the kinks are quite intimate, and I didn't really know any of the other contestants. Tyreece, I've met before the show.
Yeah.
Know them very well, but I haven't met them before the show. And so like in that scenario, that was like my ideal choice if we were going to be in such like an intimate thing. And we did have a bit of time to discuss, and we both decided that we would go down the route of us being like the sub in the bondage scenario, because neither one of us had like done bondage in our own lives, like in our own sex lives. And so we didn't really know much about it other than like what we'd seen in porn or whatever. So that was like what we decided to do. We thought that fitted a little bit better than trying, because originally we were saying that like I would be the dom and Tyreece would be the sub, but then I don't know how to tie the knots.
I was wondering, did Matthew Camp tie those knots for you guys?
Yeah, we used Matthew as a prop strategically.
Okay.
We wanted him to not be in the picture, but we wanted him to like be pulling the ropes as well, which is why our bodies were like streamlined in that direction. And then obviously they just cut him out of the picture, thankfully. And so yeah, we got Matthew to tie that, and he obviously has experience in tying the knots, so he did it very quickly.
All right, so let's play actually a clip from that challenge while we're talking about it.
One.
Now, can I go from this side just because?
Yeah, you want to show off your best asset.
Let's go. To get variety.
I mean, I don't like jinxing things, but this should be a walk in the park.
You haven't done this before, have you?
Only professionally.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Tyreece and Cameron were a little bit manic. I think it was difficult with the rope because unless you're an actual bondage artist, you know, what do you do with a rope?
I can't help.
Watching them roll around all tied up together on the floor is definitely making me feel a little hot.
Yeah? You like that shit? Okay, look. Did you take a photo?
I just took one, yeah. That's your last shot.
Oh, one more.
No, I think that's the last shot. It was fun. It was a nice candid moment, I think.
All right, so that was a clip from episode 2 of you and Tyreece doing the bondage challenge. And I know we were talking about it a little bit before. You said you have not done any type of bondage in your own personal life or anything like that before?
On our OnlyFans, we've had like requests for it, and we have like these we actually have these ties which are like easy tie. You just like clip them, and then they sort of like, what are they called? Like not buttons, poppers. They pop in, and so then you're like tied up. So like we've done videos like that as requests on OnlyFans, but like actual bondage with like rope, no.
So this was like out of your ballpark. So
yeah, definitely.
How was it like working with Sam Morris? I know he's a well-known photographer in the industry. Was it hard being in front of the camera like that because you guys take your own photos, or was it easy to do photo shoot? It looked a little, because Tyreece was like, "Oh, we're already done."
Yeah. When we got there, we were obviously told that we only had 10 photos to do. I don't know why, but in my head, I thought of had that he would just be constantly taking photos and we would just be constantly moving. We had like, 10 minutes as opposed to 10 photos. So that bit was like a bit unnerving when we found that out. So I guess we probably came across a little bit unprepared. But once we started, it's hard because he doesn't like turn the camera around and go, that's what that looks like. Whereas like when you're at like home, you're taking your own picture, or like, I don't know, when you get photographers in like even like modeling that I've done in the past, you do kind of get like a little feedback partway through to be like, okay, this is what you look like, so like adjust accordingly if you need to. Whereas we didn't. So like at any point, and obviously because we'd never done bondage before, we weren't really sure what it was meant to look like. And then, we were sort of moving around thinking, I'm just trying to guess what like we're looking like on camera, which is
the angle.
Yeah. Also, after watching the other contestants, no shade to Matthew Camp, but like Busty was way more helpful to her group. She was like in there, like, moving it, like putting her like.
I actually spoke to Busty the other day, and she was telling me that she was like talking about how she was very hands-on and like, all right, do this, do that. And then I was watching Matthew and I was like, oh, he didn't help them much at all.
No, he tied the ropes for us, which I guess is something, but there was no like, move in this position, or like, this is what you should look like when you're sub, or...
To jump around a little bit, at the beginning of the episode, you kind of opened up to the house, Gustavo and Nicky, about your kind of personal life and growing up gay.
I came out to my parents when I was 15 as bisexual, although I now identify as gay. But I was brought up in a very religious communal household. I didn't really understand what like being gay was. We definitely thought it was a sin. They don't like believe in like sort of like gays not being a choice. They think it's like a a thing that you're subjected to from watching like too much gay TV. And so they thought it was going to go away. My family is part of quite a zealous Christian religion that is very communal based, very within itself. Like each night we'd like pray that I'd like turn straight, and like they'd like read scriptures to me about like why it was wrong and like how it eventually turned me to be more masculine. And then like they wanted me to get like an engineering job so that I wouldn't be so feminine all the time. And then once I'd come out and it was realized in my religion, I was expelled from that religion. It was announced in like our congregation. It was really embarrassing. I was there for the announcement, and all my previous friends and my family could no longer talk to me.
Talk a little bit about what that was like growing up for you. Like,
so my family, they are super religious. My extended family as well, like my aunts and uncles. And the religion is very like communal. So like when I was younger, I wouldn't hang out with anyone who wasn't of the same religion. So like we were, surrounded by all the time people who believed in the same things as us. And so when I sort of realized that I was like developing feelings for men, like I thought I was bisexual at first. Because again, I didn't really understand it. Like I can remember we would watch like X Factor as a kid, and if there was like a gay contestant, they'd turn it off. Like we wouldn't watch anything like that. And so I didn't really know what being gay was, but I remember like being confused about it and going to my parents with the intention of like trying to get rid of it as well. Like at the start, I was also like trying to turn straight. Obviously, I didn't want to be gay, especially not in the lifestyle I had. And so they would read scriptures with me. We'd go to like the appointed people in our congregation, like the church ministers, and they would read scriptures with me. They would, show me why it was wrong and like what I should do and like how I had to take my thoughts away from it and stuff like that. And that obviously went on for like 3 years until I was 18. And the whole time, like I mean, I didn't really, looking back, I can see that I was like heavily depressed and like very, you know, down on myself all the time, thinking that I was like gross and disgusting. But like at the
Yeah.
time, I didn't realize that was my thought process. And then there was points where like my parents wouldn't even like talk to me and stuff. So like in like the house, I would like, after I came in from work, I would just go upstairs and like go to bed, and I'd like just not associate with them because they didn't want me to be around them. They thought it was like a gross thing. And then one day I was arguing with my dad, and he said that I needed to leave. He said it in anger, but I did actually have enough money saved up. So then I left. 2 days later, I found a place that was like, I mean, I've seen them a couple of times since, but that was one of the last times I've seen them properly.
Oh my gosh. Has that like carried into your today life? Do you still think you like hold on to that kind of negativity towards yourself, or do you think you're more okay with yourself now and like just free, or do you think some of that still lingers?
I think for a long time it lingered. There was like a guilt that I carried around, like that, you know, the reason that my family were like upset and like felt that they were breaking apart was because I was choosing to like go around this like immoral lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then once I sort of matured past that and like realized that my lifestyle wasn't hurting anyone, that I was just trying to live to be happy for myself, I kind of sat myself down and I like thought that if I've lost so much to live this way, then I actually need to make sure I'm actually happy living this way. Otherwise, I've lost everything just to walk around depressed and by myself.
Yeah.
So once I came to that conclusion and started trying to make myself happy, that's when I sort of had these realizations that I'd spent so long being depressed and being down on myself, and I like threw that away from, which is obviously like easier said than done. Like it's obviously like every now and then guilt will come back, or like you'll feel depressed that you miss your family, or you'll feel like, what if this has happened in the past? But you just have to like, well, for me anyway, I have to just remember that every time that does come up, I accept that that's an emotion that I'm going to feel, and then like I just throw it away and I just think that's fine. I felt that way, but that's all I'm going to address with it. I'm not going to develop it. I'm not going to let that set seed or grow. And obviously, as I left when I was like 18, turning 19, I guess, it's been 7 years. So my whole adult life has been without them.
Yeah. So because I've been posting about these interviews on TikTok and asking people if they have any questions and this and that. And one of the questions I got a couple times is, what would you say to someone that is going through that same kind of experience as you, someone young that's hard for them to come out to their family? What advice would you give?
I would, obviously every situation is different, and some people, like in my parents' case, they're guided by religion, and some people just have like old traditional values. And others, they might be completely understanding, and you just don't know that until the point. I would say that you need to make sure that your happiness is centered around yourself, firstly, that your parents, whether or not they agree with your sexuality or your gender identity, they still, at the heart of it, would want you to be happy. Any respectable person would want their child to be happy. And they've lived their life this far, making sure that they've come out happy, and they would want you to do the same. They may not realize that at first, but they ultimately do. And so each person needs to just make sure their happiness is based on themselves and not dependent on anyone else. And then once they've like affirmed that with themselves, then they will be ready to go forward and come out to their parents or to their family. Because like once you have that like self-confidence, obviously not everything's going to be easy, but that's the thing that's, at the end of the day, the thing that stops you from spiraling is yourself, no matter how lovely your family are.
Yeah. So it makes it easier once you're okay with it to then say it to other people. Because then any backlash, it's like, I've already dealt with it. I don't need your approval kind of thing. Yeah. That's amazing. So I really resonated with you on that, because like a lot of times that's definitely a tough issue, and a main issue and talking point in growing up gay is that like you think, a lot of us think we're bisexual at first, and I think that kind of stems from like you're told that being straight is normal throughout your whole life, whether you're actually told, it's just what you see. So then when you feel differently, you're like, oh, so I already liked girls, I guess now I like boys. And then you're like, wait, no, I didn't even.
Yeah, you just didn't like realize that liking. Yeah. When I started, like I had like girlfriends before, and then when I started like dating men and like getting to know guys, I like realized it's like a totally different thing. Like obviously I can look at a woman and think that she's attractive, but it's a completely different sort of attraction. You
Yeah.
obviously when you realize that, then you obviously, well, I mean, obviously some people are bi, but then you realize that you're gay or not.
Yeah, and it's definitely it's what you feel, because like even on that front, like I've had sex with a woman, but I'm would never say, oh, I'm straight now. Like I'm still gay. I still like it's just it's difficult. There's intricacies to it that people don't know and don't think about because they're used to the heteronormative side of things. So it's definitely an interesting aspect. So I'm going to jump right into the last part of our interview, which is the 25 question rapid fire kind of thing. Ranges from all over the place to what's your favorite food, to advice you'd give, to what's your favorite sex toy kind of stuff. So everyone seemed to like these kind of questions. So I kept the same questions. Question number 1, who is your favorite slag? It doesn't have to be on the show, just anyone that's sex empowered that means something to you.
I guess Anna Nicole Smith.
Ooh, we love her. Anna Nicole Smith's good. Question number 2, favorite song to listen to when you get it on?
As in when I'm having sex?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm the wrong person to ask. I hate music. If I had to pick something, it would have to be, I don't know, like something R&B, slow and soulful or something like that.
Okay. Question number 3, what is your favorite part of being on Slag Wars?
My friendship with Tyreece.
Awesome. What's your least favorite part?
My friendship with Nicky. No, I'm kidding. My least favorite part, how bad I did in the challenges.
I think the robot was a little funny, but it came across hilarious. So it was definitely not what everyone did, but it definitely, like you said, I'm just going to play it up. Question number 5, who is the most famous person you've ever met?
My boyfriend, Levi. No. Most famous person I've ever met. Gosh, I haven't met that many famous people. Have I? Oh no, I met Graham Norton and I met Adele.
Ooh, Adele's a good one. We love Adele. Do you have a favorite book? I know you said you're a writer and want to be writing a book. What's your favorite book?
My favorite book, there's a series called The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson.
All right. Everyone go check that out. Who is your favorite musical artist?
Britney Spears.
Love Britney. Let's talk about that for 1 second. What do you think about the Free Britney movement? Because I meant to ask the other contestants, but I wanted to ask you since you said Britney.
Yeah, I'm a big Britney fan. I'm a big advocate for the Free Britney movement. I think everything that comes out like horrifies me about it, like the conservatorship that she's in with her father.
Yeah.
All of it. And when I see comments from like, sorry, my dogs are here, about like when Paris Hilton comments stuff like Free Britney and stuff like that, I just think that it obviously is like so real because obviously they were so close as well. It's really sad. It is really sad.
Definitely.
I want her to have her life back.
It's crazy. She like I haven't even listened to the new song that came out because like I don't even want to give the money or the streams to her people because she's a 40-something-year-old woman with the rights of a 12-year-old. That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't.
Next question. What is your favorite movie?
Either the Star Wars franchise or the X-Men franchise.
You're a Star Wars fan? I would have never pictured that.
Yeah, I am.
I can't get past like the first one. Do you have a favorite TV show?
I was gonna say The Mandalorian, which is a Star Wars thing. Other than that, favorite TV show, Game of Thrones.
See, that's another one that I didn't watch until the last episode aired, and I went back and was like, why did I not watch that? I am obsessed with Daenerys. Like, she's amazing.
It's so good, yeah.
If you could change anything about your life, would you, and what would it be?
I don't know, because I really believe in like the butterfly effect. So I feel like if I changed one thing, I'd be scared that it would horrendously change everything else. The only thing that I could possibly think of is to get more dogs.
More dogs, which is one of the other questions. Are you a cat or a dog person? Which I guess that answers that.
Yeah, definitely dog.
That seems to be the general answer, which I like because like everyone said the same kind of thing. Like, no, that would affect what I'm doing now, and I am on a path, and I don't want to stray from that path, and I like that.
Yeah.
If someone made a movie about your life, who would you want to play you in that movie?
Can't think of any like actor that I particularly love that's my age, that's male. Maybe someone like Sam Claflin, because he's British.
Okay.
Oh no,
All right.
I like Andrew Garfield actually. He's really good.
Andrew Garfield. Yeah, I can see that. All right. Question number 12. What is the first thing you think of when you wake up in the morning?
Money.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, money and my OnlyFans.
Perfect. Got to keep up the work. If you could rid the world of one thing, what would it be?
I guess I'd have to be nice and pick one of the diseases. So probably like cancer.
Okay. All right. I like that because everyone else said negativity, which is good, but like cancer's a big one. If you were the 8th dwarf in the 7 dwarves, what would your name be?
Wait, what are the other ones? Is happy, bashful.
So yeah, well, so far in the cast, we've gotten horny, slaggy, Tyreece said Bambi.
I was gonna say, I don't know, something like witty. Yeah, witty.
Witty? Okay. I was gonna say pretty, but that works too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Question number 16. What is your biggest turn off?
My biggest turn off is when someone turns everything about themselves. Like if you start saying like, I feel ill today and they feel ill too, or like, you know, you've had a great day and they say why their day was great too.
Yeah.
I just think give everyone their time of day and then, you know, another occasion talk about yourself.
Okay, that's interesting because, which I'm gonna do that right now, but it's interesting because like I've learned that like for myself, which I know a lot of people do get annoyed with that, but for me personally, it's my way of like equating to you, like letting you know like, oh, I've gone through that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
I get
hope
that.
you aren't offended if I do that.
I think there's like an art to it of conversation where you like acknowledge the other person's thing and you like make like say, oh, that's such a shame. I'm sorry that happened to you. Like,
yeah,
that's fine. But there are people out there who just go, no way, my dad died.
And yeah, and just take it away. Like my party was worse than your party, kind of thing. Yeah. What is the first word that comes to mind right now?
Help.
If you're at the club, what's your favorite song to dance to?
Anything by Becky Hill.
Becky Hill? I've never heard of her.
Oh, she's very like UK, to be fair. I don't think she's crossed into America much.
Okay, I'll have to check her out.
My second option would be anything by Britney.
Of course. You better work, bitch. What is the most important thing in your life right now?
Probably my dogs, maybe Levi, one of the two.
If you could give a sentence of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
To get over it quicker. Everything. I always like hold on to things. Well, not anymore. I've like learned not to, but like when I always would dwell on every negative thing that happened and everything that I thought someone offended me, I'd think about it for days, and it's such a waste of time because most people aren't, after they offend you, aren't thinking about it for even a second.
If you had any superpower in the world, what would it be?
Probably teleportation.
I love that one. I would say orb myself from like Charm to be able to just fly places.
Mm-hmm.
In the event of a zombie apocalypse, this one's kind of weird. In the event of a zombie apocalypse, who are 3 people that you would bring onto your team to get you to the end of the world and help you survive?
I mean, choosing them because of efficiency or because I want them around me?
Either or.
I guess Levi. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like Sylvester Stallone or something.
That's
Sylvester Stallone and like Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, Sylvester Stallone, and Levi. Perfect. All right. If you could choose any career other than what you're already doing, would you? And what would it be?
I do like what I'm doing. Obviously, I want to be an author, but I feel like I'll get there soon enough. So my second choice would be something like acting. I think that's always fun.
Okay. And our last question is, what is one thing that you want people to take away from you being on the show, or just that you want people to remember about you in the long run?
I think a lot of people think that I take myself quite seriously because of the way I look, and I want people to realize that they don't, and that like as much as I do care about my appearance, I care about like being funny and being witty and intelligent far more, and that's what I want people to think about me.
It's amazing. And I think that this interview and even me just talking to you, I've seen that. It seems like you're very, you got the stone-faced, chiseled look, and it's just that, but seeing you actually interact, it's way different. So I like that. Is there anything you can tell us that we can expect from the upcoming episodes?
Let's just say the next episode, it's going to be like the biggest of all of the episodes. It's a real show, and everybody's going to be really bringing what they can do individually.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Based on everyone else's answers, I'm super excited to see the next episode as well. And I just wanted to thank you for taking the time out of your day for agreeing to do this, and thank men.com, Daddy Couture for putting on the show, Matt Camp, Rebecca Moore, and especially Sophie Anderson for starting off these interviews and making it so everyone would want to do them in the first place. And so you said you do OnlyFans and you're on social media. Where can my fans and your fans find you on social media?
My TikTok and Instagram is Cameron Peter Smith, and my OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/LeviCam.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great day.